Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that, well, it's everywhere, but probably completely off your radar. The constant fight against hard water buildup.
Hmm.
You know, that scale in your kettle. And it's pretty small time, Ray. But what if I told you preventing that kind of buildup is actually a massive, multi-billion-dollar global industry?
Yeah, it's one of those hidden things that keeps so much running smoothly.
Exactly. So, our mission today is to dive into these things called descaling agents. We're using the Global Descaling Agent Market Outlook report from Cognitive Market Research as our guide.
It's a pretty comprehensive look.
It really is. We want to understand just how big this market is, where it's going, and, why it actually matters quite a bit. I have to say, when I first saw the numbers in this report, I was genuinely surprised. It's huge. Okay, let's unpack this.
So what's fascinating here, I think, is how fundamental these agents are. I mean, you find them impacting everything from, your washing machine right up to huge industrial power plants.
Right. But most of us never think about them.
Not until something stops working, usually. Basically, descaling agents are specialty chemicals. Their whole job is to get rid of mineral deposits, limescale, rust, that sort of thing.
The stuff that clogs things up.
Precisely. And that buildup, it doesn't just look bad. It seriously cuts down efficiency, makes things use more energy, and eventually it can really damage expensive equipment.
Okay, so they prevent breakdowns and save energy.
Yeah, and it's not just one magic chemical either. It's actually quite tailored. You've got different types, strong acids for really tough industrial scale, maybe gentler organic acids, chelating agents for home appliances or systems where you need to be careful with the materials.
Ah, okay, so it's specific.
Very specific.
Yeah,
That's key to how well they work and why the market has this kind of complexity.
that makes sense. And the report really hammers home how critical they are across the board. Manufacturing plants, commercial buildings, homes, even massive water treatment systems. The link seems really direct. Use these agents, things run better, use less energy. That applies to, your house and giant factories.
Absolutely. Without them, you just see way more failures, way less efficiency, and honestly, significant financial hits.
So it's not just about convenience, it's economics too.
Definitely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's also about sustainability, in a way.
How so?
Well, by keeping equipment running efficiently, you make it last longer,
Right.
right? So you don't need to replace it as often.
Okay, yeah. Less manufacturing, less waste.
Exactly. Less raw material consumption, less stuff in landfills, and you cut down the energy needed to make new units. It's sort of this quiet background industrial environmentalism, making sure what we have runs better and lasts longer.
Huh. I never thought it that way. So it's really woven into the fabric of modern industry. Now you might think, okay, essential, but maybe a slow, steady kind of market.
You might think that, yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This market isn't just stable, it's actually booming. The report valued it at $1.47 billion back in 2021, which is already pretty big.
Yeah, not insignificant.
But wait, it's projected to hit $1.85 billion by 2025. And then, get this, by 2033, it's expected to jump to $2.9 billion.
Wow.
That's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 5.8%, sustained from 2021 all the way to 2033. We're talking nearly doubling in value over that period.
That's pretty robust growth for any sector, let alone one people don't often talk about.
Right. It makes you wonder, what does that kind of growth in this sector tell us about everything else?
Well, if we connect it to the bigger picture, I think that sustained growth tells a really profound story. It reflects global industrialization, definitely, urbanization too, and just evolving demands from consumers and industry. It's not only that people are more aware of maintenance benefits, but it's also the sheer expansion of industries that need water systems, which is, let's face it, almost every industry.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, energy, all the infrastructure needed for growing cities, water, wastewater treatment. The demand is just fundamentally tied to global development.
Yeah.
So those numbers, they're not just stats. They really signal deeper economic trends, investment in infrastructure, and this global push for efficiency.
That's a great way to put it, a barometer for industrial health. So if that's the case, where are the hotspots? Where is this growth really taking off? Let's look at the regions, starting with the big one, Asia Pacific, APAC.
Right, the powerhouse.
Definitely. It's not just the largest market now, it's also growing the fastest. It was worth about $552 million in 2021. The projection for 2033, $1.1 billion.
Doubling. Impressive.
Yeah, with a 6% CAGR. Now, within APAC, China's a giant, expected to reach around $458 million. But what's really interesting is India, its growth momentum is even higher, expected to hit $226 million at a 6.2% CAGR. And you've still got major players like Japan, South Korea, plus Southeast Asia and Taiwan all contributing strongly. The report points to, well, exactly what you said, rapid industrialization, urbanization, and just more awareness about keeping things running efficiently.
And that dominance in APAC makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Given the scale of industrial growth, the infrastructure being built, the population increase, the demand for reliable power, clean water, efficient factories, it's just immense. Urbanization drives residential needs, new factories drive industrial needs, descaling agents are just fundamental to supporting those economic engines.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears, head west to North America, also a major region.
Yep, very significant.
It was at about $390 million in 2021, projected to grow to over $750 million by 2033. That's a solid 5.7% CAGR.
Still strong growth.
Yeah. The U.S. obviously leads, going from roughly $330 million to $634 million. Canada grows nicely, too, up to nearly $100 million. But here's a little detail that jumped out at me. Mexico. It's the fastest growing spot in North America. Its revenue is set to nearly triple, from about $6 million to almost $19 million by 2033. That's an 8% CAGR.
8%. That's huge. And it clearly signals a real surge in industrial activity there. New manufacturing, maybe nearshoring effects, definitely infrastructure development.
Right. Building new stuff that needs to run well from the start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests major investment in sectors that need that operational maintenance. It mirrors what you see in developing economies with strong manufacturing growth. It's not just about old systems, it's about the new ones too.
Makes sense. Okay, let's cross the Atlantic to Europe. The market there is projected to go from around $359 million in 2021 to nearly $690 million by 2033. That's a 5.5% CAGR.
Still very solid, consistent growth.
Yeah. Mature economies like Germany and the UK are leading in terms of value. Germany over $130 million, UK around $101 million. Then France, Italy also strong, Spain, Russia, Switzerland showing stable growth. But interestingly, the category labeled Rest of Europe actually shows the highest rate of expansion within the continent. It's set to more than double, reaching about $126 million.
And that rest of Europe category often includes emerging economies or areas undergoing significant industrial modernization, right?
Exactly. So you see demand picking up in new industrial hubs there.
So Europe's interesting. You have this steady, ongoing need in the highly developed economies, just essential maintenance. But then you also have these pockets of faster growth where new infrastructure and industry are kicking in.
It's a mix.
Yeah, it shows efficiency is a concern everywhere, just maybe for slightly different reasons depending on the stage of development.
Okay, now for another region showing really remarkable growth, the Middle East.
Yes. Very dynamic.
Seriously, some of the strongest growth globally. It goes from $59 million in 2021 up to $142 million by 2033. That's a CAGR of 6.9%.
Nearly 7%. That's significant.
It's huge. Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE are leading the charge. Egypt and Qatar also showing strong growth. And again, the rest of the Middle East nearly tripled its revenue.
So this raises an important question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's driving that kind of explosive growth specifically there?
Good question. What do you think?
Well, it has to be tied to the massive investments we're seeing in new infrastructure. Huge energy projects, petrochemicals, massive urban development.
Right, all the diversification efforts.
Exactly, and critically, water management. In a region where water is scarce, things like desalination plants, advanced wastewater treatment, district cooling systems, they are absolutely essential.
And they all need descaling.
Constantly. From day one, they're building to the future, and these agents are just a fundamental part of making that future infrastructure work efficiently.
Okay. Moving south to Africa, the market there is growing steadily from about $51.6 million to $104.5 million by 2033. That's a 5.5% CAGR, same as Europe, actually.
Steady progress.
Yeah. South Africa leads in value, Nigeria showing good growth, and the rest of Africa also contributing significantly. It points to ongoing development across the continent. And finally, South America. Consistent growth here, too. from roughly $65 million in 2021 to $107 million by 2033. The TAGR is a bit lower, 4.7%, but still
Well,
extending.
and growing, yeah.
Brazil dominates, as you might expect, followed by Argentina, and the rest of South America shows steady growth as well.
So a truly global picture of expansion, really.
Absolutely. We've seen the big numbers, the regional leaders, these surprising growth spots like Mexico and the Middle East. It's clear this isn't niche, it's everywhere. So let's bring it back. What does this all mean for you, the listener? How does this fit into the bigger picture?
Well, if you pull it all together, the reasons for this growth become, I think, really clear and actually quite relevant to everyone.
Yeah.
It boils down to increasing demand basically everywhere. Industrial plants, commercial buildings, and yes, in our homes, too. And it's fundamentally linked to this global drive for efficiency. Plus, there's a growing focus on sustainability and just basically people wanting their expensive equipment to last longer.
Makes sense. Don't want to replace the boiler every few years.
Exactly. So every time an industry tries to cut its carbon footprint or make machinery last longer or just ensure critical infrastructure is safe and reliable, descaling agents are part of that equation.
So understanding this market gives us a window into something bigger.
I think so, yeah. It's like a unique lens on economic development globally. You can almost track infrastructure build-out, industrial health, even shifts in like consumer attitudes towards maintenance and longevity.
Wow.
It shows how these seemingly small, specialized things are completely critical to keeping our whole modern world functioning and running sustainably. It's like a quiet indicator of our collective push for efficiency in this really complex global system.
Wow. Who knew chemicals for cleaning pipes could tell such a big story? Okay, so recapping. The global descaling agent market is way bigger than you might think, and it's set for really significant sustained growth across the board.
Driven by demand everywhere.
Yeah, from Asia's industrial boom to the infrastructure surge in the Middle East and places like Mexico, it all comes back to that universal need for efficiency, sustainability, and just making things last. And the report really concludes these agents are only going to become more vital in the years ahead, underpinning all these complex systems we rely on. It really makes me wonder how many other invisible industries like this are out there.
That's a great question.
You know, things just as crucial, quietly powering everything that deserve attention, not just for their market value, but because they're fundamental. And what are the sort of knock-on effects environmentally or technologically of this rising global need for maintenance chemicals as we keep building and evolving?
Lots to think about there.
Definitely something to chew on. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.